Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have one more channel on which I speak about astrology, and my Facebook page you can find in the description box below. Any other channels or accounts on any social media are not mine, are just created by copycats and all these crazy lunatics who steal identity, and those are illegal activities. In this video, God has guided me to talk about protection. This is a very complicated topic and very nuanced issue, which I was one of the initial, controversies that I had when I actually started learning about the astral. Because as I explained in the previous video already, of course, there was the time of the attack when I actually learned that there are specific institutions which make claims on other institutions, and they embed those claims in contracts which are unbeknownst to you. Now, of course, in the public dealings, sort of say, they don't actually state out that they harvest energy from you, obviously. What they say is that we protect them. So this institution protects the other institutions and has overseeing power over them. For protection, this is the argument, right? Because when this happened, this attack happened, and when I explained in the previous video that individuals said that we have rights over you because you work in this institution and our institution has rights over your institution and so on, I had a dialogue with God as I described in the previous video, and this is what God said. They say this is protection. Because I said, how is this even fucking possible? Where were you, Father God, when this happened? Why you allowed this to happen? And basically God said, they say they protect you. So basically what happens is, this is why I say protection, of course, is desirable. Everyone wants protection in life in general, to be protected. But then again, make sure it's protection and it's not a word being used to cover up harvesting energy, stealing rights, and other things. That's exactly the essence of this topic about protection. Because what they do, they usually use the word protection, the concept of protecting you, in order to make claims over you, to steal your rights, to take rights over you, which clearly is illegal, obviously. And I think it's I don't have to prove it's illegal. Just the fact that it's unbeknownst to you, that proves that is something that you wouldn't accept freely if you would know what is going on. I mean, just the fact that they go through the hardship of covering everything up, that proves to you that it's something that you wouldn't agree with if you would know. It's very simple. But this is very important to understand, because they can make it sound very appealing once you get knowledge in astral and you start actually discovering your gifts and so on. It's one thing before you get active in astral. So it's one thing when you actually are, like people say, asleep, when you're not awake, when you're not active in astral, because then you don't know anything. So basically you just have no choice in what's going on, right? But once you start, and let me say this is why you are asleep, and this is why you don't know anything, because of this so-called protection, which is essentially blindfolding you. This is what it is. It's a type of energy which is blindfolding you, and it's created through multiple ways, by multiple actors, because they have agreements among themselves to essentially blindfold you. Particularly, for example, I learned those that have gone through sacrifice rituals. If sacrifice ritual was done on you, it's embedded in the contract that you will never find out. That how was it that yes, this is how God showed me they phrase it. Knowledge in astral is forbidden to her. So they will place on you this kind of energy that will blindfold you and will not allow you to see or act in astral to learn what is going on. When actually they put this in their contracts. It depends what kind of contracts were done on you. But also you must know that there are contracts done on you as an individual, but there are contracts done on entire communities. Like is this institutional type of claims. They do it on all individuals from that institution. Oh, some of the individuals have specific royal rights. On those individuals, they will do more of these contracts and these sacrifice rituals because those have more rights, more divine rights, but also they have more gifts, and you stand the chance that they will see through this anyhow. So they do multiple layers of contracts, and each contract basically it's a type of energy attachment at you. Each type of contract creates that on you. So it's very important to understand that of course it's desirable, and there are institutions like it's the police force, the law enforcement, the justice system, the prosecution. These are institutions which in their mandate of existence, they must make justice. They serve justice. They are supposed to protect you. Okay? So these institutions carry the responsibility of protecting you without harvesting or taking anything from you. It's their own reason for being, for existence, right? But most protection that is presented as protection in astral, in fact, it's a cover up for harvesting energy, for stealing your rights, or at least from blocking you. For them, if you're successful in fighting for yourself and you steal ascend and so on, at some point they are pleased even with blocking you. If we cannot steal more from you, if we cannot, most important is to transfer karma to you and to block you. So you won't be able to, because by walking your path in spirituality, that means that you will shed light around you anyhow. So for them, it's a high stake in this to make sure that they block you at least if they don't get to do whatever they want with you. So that was my first, I was outraged at the time, of course. I was so angry, I cannot explain to you. And I asked God, how could you let this happen? And God has shown to me, they claim they protect you. And they said, but this is not protection. This is not true protection. What they do is they place a very dark energy over you based on some sort of stupid judgments or punishments which they invent. This like God has shown to me that, for example, one of the reasons why they placed some sort of darkness over me was that she's challenging authority. She's not disciplined enough. She's not obedient enough. She's challenging authority because she doesn't agree with her boss on this. So then she must be disciplined. She must be taught a lesson. She must become obedient. Do you see how they are crazy? And anyhow, they make all sorts of judgments like this on you. And they place darkness on you. And they say they do this for protection. But it's not protection. What in fact is, it's a blindfold which they put on you energetically so you don't see what is being done. So this is very important. They do this on institutional level. They do this on individual level. They do this on institutional level as well. There are institutions. And this is very important here to understand what is the dynamic between institutions in a state. Because there are institutions in all states which claim rights over other institutions, the so-called overseeing rights. And because of that, they do these convents and they basically make claims on the entire institution. They limit the powers of those institutions and, of course, of the people in those institutions. They steal their rights, their identity, and they do all of these, practices which I have been describing in all my videos and all my prophetic writings. So they do all of that on them, claiming the entire institution. And over that, of course, it comes the individual level where if you have more rights than others, they will make more claims on you, particularly separate from the ones made over the whole institution. And of course, for example, an important purpose for them, this is actually something that I discovered just this morning. But it's very logic. I should have seen it earlier. One of the important goals they have is to blindfold all the institutions that have a responsibility in justice making and protection. Why? Because if they do all of these illegal practices, even murders, all the blood rituals and all the sacrifices, animal sacrifices and human sacrifices they make, because God has shown to me they go so far to actually kill people, So of course they do voodoo and voodoo sacrifice rituals through killing animals and creating voodoo projections on you, but they also go this far that they do physical murder on people, actually, when they actually practice this sacrifice ritual on humans. So all of this basically is supposed to be investigated by all of these law enforcement and justice making prosecution institutions. And a year ago, when they did this murder of the two puppies which they throw into my courtyard, poisoned and killed, God has shown to me a couple of things. One of them was that was a ritual done, or sacrifice ritual done on those animals with voodoo projection on me, basically, because they didn't succeed to kill my own dogs. They did this in order to create a specific presence on my land of death. There's a specific ritual God has shown to me what it means, but basically it's where on your land, like house if you have an apartment, but more specifically in my case, because I have a house on my courtyard, on my land, there will be this death force, which is feeding from death as well. Anyhow, the point is, we're talking about protection now. So when this happened, God has shown all of this to me, so I went and filed a formal complaint at the police, and God has shown to me, because the individual from police who came, God has said to me, the police is under bondage. Because I said, why is this policeman working with them? And God said, because the police is under bondage. This is why. So I gave you just one example. I didn't stop there. I continued. I actually filed formal complaint against that policeman as well, because he refused to investigate. He simply refused to even enter my courtyard. Do you understand? He didn't want to enter my courtyard to see the corpse of the two dogs. And he was supposed to take them with him to take pictures of the location where they were found, and to take them to do necropsy. He refused all of this. He refused, simply refused. Didn't want to. I had to take myself the two corpses at the necropsy and pay with my own money for necropsy, basically, because he didn't want to. Anyhow, moving on. The point is, that is the first time when actually God told me, because the police is under bondage. This is why. Of course, there are some policemen who are part of these convents. That's a fact. But what is more of a concern, at least to me, is that the institutional bondage that you create over a whole institution, because then it means you paralyze the activity of and the action of the entire institution. And this obviously can have dramatic impact. Anyhow, moving on, because there's more that I have to say. So I had this discussion with God, and I said, but this is not protection. This is not protection. This is actually blindfolding me. I don't need this fucking stupid protection of there, which actually is blocking me from seeing what is being done. What do you mean they've been harvesting energy from me all this time and I didn't know? Where were you? Why you let this happen? And God has started to actually reveal all of this to me, which you can find in my prophetic writings. I was more detailed there. But anyhow, I explained in the previous video, the steps which I took in order to cut off all of this protection, which was not protection actually, was only blindfolding me so I will not see what they are doing. And there are many ways in which they blindfold you. Part of it is, for example, through credits, because they do all of these contracts on your money. Through any kind of bank, loan, credits, anything, any of this, all of it is part of contracts made on you. You must know, because money is your energy. You also must know this. Anyhow, moving on from this is even more. I explained, that the attacks became even stronger after I filed the formal complaint at the Intel institution. SRI is called in Romania. It's the counterpart of FBI in United States. And I didn't know what to do. I basically, because I never studied or had any interest, and actually, honestly speaking, I never believed in witchcraft and sorcery and all of this, because as I said, I was going to church, and very often it was very much part of my life, and the priest told me not to believe in it. This was the education I got, and I had some questions about it, because I said, why you have all these prayers against witchcraft if there is no witchcraft and I shouldn't believe in it? So it was a bit peculiar to me. And it became peculiar, particularly beginning with 2014, when I felt in my energy field huge attacks, very painful. And I went to church to attend some of the prayers that they had there, and I could see with my own eyes that the instant when I would go to these specific prayers for against witchcraft and against evil eye and so on, instantly that energy would leave. I was instantly cleaning that darkness. So it was clear to me, okay, this is not something normal. This is somebody's doing something on me. Because it just disappears instantly when I actually go to these prayers. So I started to become a little bit more concerned about it, but I still didn't know where to find answers about all of this. So, and my priest still was saying to me that this is just stupid and I shouldn't pay attention. That I should just go to prayer and I shouldn't question too much. Anyhow, when attacks of witchcraft were so strong in my house that I basically couldn't stay in the house. I literally couldn't. I went to church here nearby my house, and I spoke to a priest, And I said this in previous videos and also in my prophetic writings. And he told me, to my shock, he was very much aware. He said, there's a convent here in Cernica. I was, what? And they are doing this and that and that. They are also doing gang stalking. And it's pretty much focused on sexual practices. And actually, he described to me, he knew everything that they were doing. I was in shock. And they said, why don't you do something? What do you mean it's this? And he said they sent an attachment, a demonic attachment to you. And basically, in religious terms, it's called a demon to make mockery of you. Basically, when somebody is angry at you, and they were angry at me because they couldn't do what they want, and I defended myself, so they attached a demon which was saying words in my name and stuff like this. I don't even know. Anyhow, he said, this is not a big deal, this is a surprise attack, and this, because I said, well, why is God allowing this? So he explained to me, this is not something that God allows. These are fallen angels. The fallen angels never listen to God. They rebel against God. And they are the ones who are doing all these surprise attacks. Namely, that they try to trick you and to find a way to actually launch an attack on you and do these attachments on you and so on. Basically what he explained to me, and I said, I don't understand how this works. What he said, you shouldn't worry too much, because these people who did this are way beneath you in terms of spiritual power. So they cannot overcome you. And I said, yeah, but I cannot stay in my house. What do you mean they cannot overcome me? What the fuck are they doing? Why I cannot stay in my house? Basically he started explaining to me, and I learned from him, that also priests from church are part of these convents. And basically he explained to me how it works. He said that there is this convent in which there are individuals from different other institutions, including from church, which basically have authority over that region, over the neighborhood. So imagine that you have somebody who's protecting or making claims on you at your workplace over the institution, at your neighborhood over your residency location, and so much more. I actually wrote about this. If you go on my Facebook page in my initial writings in spring 2019, this is the first things that I wrote about, because I was still so outraged about this existing. And literally, it's sort of like mafia system, where they come together in these convents and they claim to protect the neighborhood. But it's literally like a mafia system. They steal your rights, saying that this is, I don't know how you call this is percentage that you must pay to them for the protection they give you. You don't even know they exist. You don't even know about their organization and about their arrangements. You have no clue of this happening, but still, basically, they start speaking in your name. The priest in the church to whom you confess, he also makes claims on you of protection, of sort of spiritual, how you call this, tutore, basically is the one who has some sort of not parental rights on you, but sort of like a mentor, sort of like this, tutorship. I don't know. I think this is maybe in English a word as well. Anyhow, the priest to whom you confess takes rights over you, claims rights over you. The convent in your neighborhood does. The one over your institution does. They're everywhere. The one that has over the financial system and banks, it's a different convent and different institution. All of them have different hierarchy, and they have different forces. They worship different type of practices and so on. So it's literally, I wrote in spring 2019, that's the industry of enslavement. Because there's such a myriad of networks which all make claims on you from different perspectives, and they all place darkness on you. They all transfer karma on you. And all of this in the name of protection. They say they protect you. I don't need your protection. This is the point. Maybe I'm stronger than you in Astral, and I fucking don't need your protection. I can protect myself better than you can ever dream of. So they do all of this in the name of protection. Now, also, there are individuals, all of these spiritual practitioners, which teach healing by Reiki, which teach spirituality in different ways and different fields and so on. And they call themselves some sort of guru or masters, and they themselves make claims on you. Okay? Because they say they taught you something. So therefore, they consider that everything you do with the knowledge they shared with you, you should sort of also pay to them some sort of fee or something. So actually, they don't discuss with you this. They just make claims on you and everything you do. So if you encounter a healer, you must know that if he does any kind, that's why I insist on always recommending self-healing. I will teach how you heal yourself, but I will not heal you. Simply because I learned this very early in my spiritual fighting. You encounter somebody who does Reiki healing, and that through that individual, all who made claims on him get to put strings on you. And if that individual is not aware or is not even interested to fight, because there are many people who don't care for this. They say, I'm not going to waste my time learning about this. This is too big for me. I heard many of them. I share this information with other people, hoping that they need this too, and they will start fighting. And actually, I encountered people who said, no, I'm not interested to fight because this is way too big. I cannot fight all of them. And because I just want to move on. I want to move on with my life and have peace. Well, you're not going to have peace. You're going to have enslavement. That's not peace. That's just you not knowing what is being done. But God will not allow for this to drag along for too long, because this is not acceptable. This is not why you signed up to come to 3D. You came to 3D to fight. You didn't come to 3D to enjoy yourself and allow that through you all of this is being done on everybody else. The point of the matter of this video is, though, many times they use protection as a cover-up. And specifically, because I told God, I said, I never asked protection from any of them. I never asked protection from anyone. How come they made all of these claims and all of these lies behind my back, and nobody actually, these people don't, first of all, most of them never spoke to me in real life. Second of all, I don't feel like they protected in any way. And how come they actually stole from my rights without even discussing with me? So the point is, protection is a very loose term. And normal protection, the true protection, is supposed to be done without claiming the individual, But they claim you because this way they can take from your rights. They can speak in your name, particularly if you're not active in Astral and you don't see. They can speak in your name and they can make different agreements on and sell contracts on you and on your rights. So they will say they protect you, but in fact they will not. In fact, they will be stealing from you and they will be just placing a lot of darkness on you. This is, in a nutshell, the topic of protection in Astral. This is not protection. And I've heard actually many individuals saying that they ask for protection from specific individuals. This is not protection. You must know. And there should be honesty enough for you to acknowledge that this is not protection and you just want to be blindfolded and not know what is going on. Then you become responsible for everything that is done on you, but also through you on others. This is really a very serious matter, and I hope people will take it seriously. And I will say this is my deepest conviction, and I can prove this with my own experience, life experience, that I do not need any kind of protection from other humans. It's enough to have God's protection and Jesus' protection and my spiritual team from Divine Realms protection. That's enough. This is what you needed to come here. This is who you need to protect you so you can carry on your spiritual purpose. Of course, you can create alliances in order to achieve certain things together with others, but that should be made as a conscious decision. It shouldn't be made unbeknownst to you. It should be made as a conscious decision. It shouldn't be made by stealing from you, because stealing from you clearly adds to the darkness which is being created on you, and so on. So that's a different story. I said in other videos, God wants people to achieve ascension and to create 5D communities, to come together and work together. But that should be done after you have cleared all this darkness, or better yet, in order to clear that darkness, and it should be done as a conscious decision making, not something that is done in your name without your knowledge because somebody is claiming you. So all you need, I believe, it's God, Jesus, and the divine realm to help you in order to free yourself from all of these. And obviously, at some point, when you receive divine guidance, it will be ideal that you have some partnership with others. But make sure that you have a fair partnership with divine blessing, and you don't have other people making claims on you, stealing from you, and blindfolding you, so you will not use your power, so you will not use your gifts, so you will not become who you're meant to be, and so they will block you from achieving the purpose that you assumed when you came here. Okay, I will stop here because it takes too long to upload videos. I hope I covered the essential parts of protection issue, and I will reflect on it and come back with further details if I feel like there are important things left out. I wish upon everybody really true divine protection and clear vision and strength to fight against all of this madness and lies and deception and delusions which have been created only to cover up the ugliness of what they're doing.